So I was thinking about macros, and my original objective was to sketch out what I would want to write. And I realized I already have them, like really close. Because Meta inserts the code that it sees next, the string that it sees next as code, parses it, compiles it right there. So if we have functions that return strings, those are our macros. And or functions that call meta. Think about this one. Well, no, it's going to return the sum of x and x. So if we know what we want to return, or if we are okay with our arguments being evaluated eagerly, then this works. Just take a generic. Now, we don't need this for plus. We have operator overloading the proper way using a type class called add. But it's an example. We'll call it double. And this is really interesting because let's go further. So then we have add lazy, the other style, where I want to accept code as my arguments, like a macro does, right? And if I mention x twice, it's going to run that code twice. And that's kind of what we have here. What was I saying? These are lazily evaluated, right? The thing is, with this, it's just the string of the code you want it to be. If you're going to call this, then meta needs to appear at the call site. And that's a little worse. The nice thing about this is it just looks like a function call, which, like, okay, it has the con of like the magic. I didn't declare magic, but you don't want it to be too noisy, right? Like this is too noisy, I think. Every time you invoke a macro, we can't type hash meta. Okay, which moves us on to, if we are doing the lazy one, and we don't want to wrap all our code in strings, right? Because this looks stupid. I don't want to put my code in strings. Even though I don't want it evaluated yet, we have this hash code directive, which actually produces a string literal. It's just that the stuff gets lexed and parsed as an expression. But the value kind you get is a string literal. So this is like full-blown macro invocation. This could be something else that has side effects, and it's only going to run once. It's going to expand into, what we wrote here and what we wrote here. Text-based, right? Like what you want with macros. And then we have this repeat function. I mean, this is cool, right? This is a macro. This is a macro that is configurable with a compile time argument. So this is the code that we want to repeat. Expr, okay? And n is the count. And so we meta repeat. We run this function at compile time with 5. It produces the string. And this works. (21 plus 55), or 2 times 21 plus 55. So my goal was to introduce a macro system, but I think I have one. I think all I need to do is quiet down the syntax. So let's look at this, right? If we wanted to show this off and be like, hell yeah, look at these macros, I think that we need a way of invoking meta that's kind of quiet. And so, you know, Rust does this, which is neat, but I don't love it. I was thinking about something in front of the name that feels a little bit better. I don't know why. And I was just thinking about, you know, variables. You know, dollar means meta, and you know, it's often used to substitute things in to escape, like in Bash, right? It kind of like goes back pretty far, PHP. And we don't use it for anything yet. Notice my Lexer doesn't like $, because we don't even lex it. That's funny. And then we just need something better for this to escape the code. And, you know, backslashes are used to escape things. And backslash doesn't mean anything right now in the language. So we could write this, which ironically expands to this. So it's just sugar for the directives we already have. Two very simple directives. I'm not sure the particular sigil matters too much, because I can always change it. But the placement of it and the general system is kind of important if I were to go and try and implement this. I think it looks kind of like metaprogramming to me. All right, let's do it. Glad you agree. So we can do this and document it. The meta directive runs its argument at compile time and expects a string. The returned string is compiled and inserted at the site of the meta directive, replacing it. And the meta directive is replaced by the returned code. The meta directive can be used at wherever a definition is expected and wherever an expression is expected. This function uses generics and invokes meta internally to produce some generic behavior, but its arguments will be eagerly evaluated more like a function call than a macro in the canonical understanding. That implies a more text-based approach. This any function that returns a string could be considered armed with the meta directive. Any function that returns a string could be considered a macro. This one accepts two expressions as strings. And when invoked via meta, will behave a whole lot like replacement macro a la Rust macro rules or even C. Or even C, although it's executing much later than C macro would, of course. This is a dynamic macro that will repeat the given expression n times. Here is how we would invoke the repeat macro, repeat function as macro. This gets a little noisy. It's important to understand the two basic primitives of meta and code, the two basic primitives. The directives meta and code but this gets very noisy, so there is sugar for both meta and code. The below is equivalent. Let's make it work. Triper. Parse. Lex. Enum token kind. Let's find some symbols. These look like symbols. Lingle, semi. Amp at dollar caret. Dollar caret. Amp dollar caret. Dollar. Just gonna go through every usage of at. I think we might have stopped calling this. We did stop calling this. But we still call this. Token from bytes, yeah. Okay. At. So now it's only in two places, right? So it's so much better because like I used to have this helper function and it was like, well, I'm a smart programmer and I can clearly see that all of these are single character tokens. So I will write a function, token from char, that optionally returns a token kind. And I'll invoke that from my lexer. The problem was that the lexer started to get complicated. Sometimes there's compound tokens, so we had to account for that, right? And once I had a token kind, then I needed a way to go from the token kind back to the character. And it's just, it wasn't buying me much. So now we have at. It's used in at. It's used in one place in this file in the lexer, which is where we lex it. Oh, and this tells you the entire behavior because it is the behavior. If we encounter this in token mode, so the only context you need is like literally we're not in a string. This is like if normal. At sign, return single, token kind at. It just doesn't get any better than that. The macro is just a little helper. Okay. We added a token kind to our lexer. And should we add backslash at the same time? Let's do just dollar for now. Oh, we already have backslash though, so let's parse. And this is gonna be for, it's actually kind of tricky because the question is, where do I want it? Only in this position or also without having to do that? Because now I can just do this, dollar, bitfield meta stud bitfield define. Instead of writing that, I would just do dollar stud bitfield define. I'm gonna do it in both places. So fun parse definition. Hash if. Okay. Where's meta? Static defin. Oh, it's here. This is meta. So is it a static definition? Yeah. And then we do static defin. If maybe hash, maybe directive. It could be like that. It's more like this now. Dollar. Hash debug, hash. Static or meta. And it wants, we advance past the hash. And this is reused for both. And then I return the kind. Yeah. I think I can do it this way. I need to be able to call back into this. Okay. Let's advance. Let's not advance past the dollar, right? But I like, this is calling parse, but we know we found a hash. When does this thing ever return none? Okay, none if it wasn't any of these, because then it could be hash debug, I guess is the idea. So we got some like tech debt. We have some debt in here. It's not great. It's not great how we do this. But that's okay. What even is that? Ah, my cool logo thing in Krita. Okay. Shit. We advance past the hash, but if we advance past the hash and then we return none, then we're gonna be at the debug, and nothing is gonna pick that up. So I don't think this thing makes sense to even still return an option. Let's go to the other place it's called. Right, maybe directive self.peak. If it returns none, it's not like I'm checking for a debug. Yeah, let's try something. So let's just try something. Have we broken the compiler yet? And if we haven't, let's try and clean this function up. And then no, yeah, we haven't broken it yet, so let's clean it up. I want to try saying, because everyone who calls you checks for the thing. Oh, hash for, hash if, and hash code. These are all under the hash. I see. I see. But this only checks for meta. I kept meeting here for fun. This only checks for meta and static because they want the same things, which is they want one expression, right? The parameters. They take parameters and then they want one expression. Okay. Right, and we match on the directive and then we expect to consume past it. In the case of the $, we kind of want just this part factored out. So if we advance past that, hashtag static, hashtag meta, or $, and then we're here. This is like expect static expr. Actually like consume static expr. Given the kind that we're already in. Just need something that we can call into if we only have the $. The thing about having a mess in your parser is it just doesn't matter because it's just not that hard of a problem, and then you can just fix it when you need to fix it. This is what I've decided. I don't need to know if it's definition level. Won't I know that? Won't I know that from where we evaluate it?
typer. Assert that it's definition level. Okay, why? That's where I found it. Oh. Because that's all I get. We could just tell this thing whether it's a definition or not. I think this is bad. I had no commit. Why is definition level on the parsed thing that, and that's wholly knowable from based on where we counter it. What? Condition, oh my gosh, this is bad. As a type, probably option, parsed expr ID. All this just to, yeah, I mean, clearly we have a problem because all we wanted to do was add a new syntax for starting one of these, and then we had to do all this. Condition if definition. Yeah. Full of trouble. So now we at least have that first start. Condition we have is definition level. And we have the kind that we already computed. Let E. Okay, sum E. We have to wrap it in a sum because of the other thing that is done poorly. Hash tokens no longer used. I guess that's actually the first. That's actually the first. And then now we go in here, and if it's $1, what we can do is we can call our thing. Part of the problem is I have so many very different things happening behind the same syntax of the hash. Like maybe hash debug shouldn't even start with a hash, because it's clearly not giving us a lot of information about what we need to do next, and we have to backtrack, and yeah, maybe. He doesn't need that, does he? Oh, it's the wrong one. Consume static expr. It's like the whole point. We have the start token, condition if definition, which we have. Whoops. Is definition level. Is it? It is, because this is parse static defin. And the kind is metaprogram. That's the whole point. The $sign means the metaprogram. And then we can, okay, sum. Sure. And it expects to find it here. That's for defins. The other place that we call it from is where we found a hash. But what if we found $1? And what we're going to do is we're going to advance, and we're going to set the consume static expr start token first. Is that what the $? is? Yeah. First, none, false. it's an optional. It is. Okay, well, at least we got to use that function twice. Yay, we didn't break it. Let's run everything just in case, and then we'll go into this one that I think should work. And where it says hash meta, let's use a $sign. Should we test this by running it? Or, you know, it would be cool. I saw a bunch of prints that I don't. Okay. What would be cool is if we tested it by connecting the new LSP. Operator, is there anyone out there? Okay. So we need to like tell it to use a whole new, like use the new binary. I can never get it to do that. So we'll just close it. And it quit. This happens sometimes. See, it immediately dies. It's like it's a bad build. See? I just built it. Cargo build, features LSP, bin LSP, copy, target debug LSP to this spot. So like if I run target debug LSP, it works. But this one doesn't. But if I CP debug LSP, which is where the plugin expects to find it, and then I run it, it's killing it. Oh, and what I've done before, I think last night I debugged it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's an executable. I'm part of the staff. It's the same file. I thought maybe it was like a system settings thing. You know, like privacy and security. So I was looking there to see if Mac OS was killing it. Motherfucker. I'll go build. Okay, so. What if I do it there and don't rename it? Okay, the non-renamed one works. And the renamed one is killed. Is it because like it's a debug executable and it cares about its own name? Maybe I'll just rename the binary anyway. Can I rename this? No one look. Okay. Cargo binary change output file name. I don't care about that. That's the actual name, but I don't want to have to refer to it as K1LSP. Matt Clad in 2018. Rust Adventure? This doesn't look good. Oh no. Oh no. Renaming debug executable breaks it. Now it works. What is that? What is happening? Y'all see that? The $ is here. It's here to party. That actually looks really clean. I think that makes a big difference over this, honestly. Getting the word out of there. It is a programming language after all. It is actually all about what people have to type and what they see. And what LLMs have to type and what they see. They're important too. Let's try it in both positions too. Meta def type my foo equals foo. Plain string. Working. Ready? Working. And it doesn't care about the space, so you can do like this. You can even do like that. Oh, so good. Okay. What's next? Now I can use my foo, right? X, let X my foo equals foo. But can't be a bool. Everything works. Let's do hash code. If like that is white space preceded hash dent code. So we were going to do a backslash, right? Maybe then I kill the plain ones because they're so hard to parse. But then we still need hash static. Door was closed. My dog just bursts in the room, flings the door all the way open, and then just stares. Pop, pop. You wanna go outside? Don't go outside? All right. He wants to go outside. Is that all we need? Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't remove it for functions. It used to be functions. It's free now. I want to restart NeoVim because I have a J for just J LSP. Okay, did I break the LSP this time? No, it works now. Hashtag code works. I'm not using it in that many places. So let's do backslash again. Does this work? I haven't installed in a while. K1. I think what I want to do is see K1 local, K1D local R %. Works with code. Expected lambda. Oh, I didn't build the regular one yet. Works. What do we think? And it can do anything. Let's fix macros. Right, explain it down there. And it's able to call the other macro too. Then how does this look up here? Dollar in front of the string. Looks kind of tight. Is hash meta more self-explanatory? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to get rid of it. We have a no commit also. Is definition level. Yeah. Let's see if we can kill that. So typer is definition level. So besides the places that we just, right. So emit if stat is definition level, definitions or empty. It's a meta program that did nothing. And we need to know where we are. I have a better idea for knowing where we are. Is definition. Which I know seems like we're just doing the same thing, but it's totally different than data living on the parse node that like doesn't say that thing. This guy's called from 3 places. Literally, this is the definition one, right? So that's easy. And this is the definition, another definition one, okay. So let's go back to the other one. Because they can appear inside, okay, this is a single definition. Oh, because there's a magic thing for declaring namespaces. We go ahead and we do them earlier, just because of what it's doing. It can make namespaces. So if it makes a namespace, we want to immediately run it. Let's see. Metaprogram top level evaluation. We simply run the program getting a string, parses definitions, and then we load those definitions and check them in IST as if they appeared right here. If it is a namespace, we ensure we handle it right now, as is the phase that they should be handled. Namespaces should be declared. Phase that namespaces should be declared. Everything else we can handle naturally as we iterate on the namespace definitions to future phases. That's why. Okay. And here's the expression one. So it's just false. Like when we call the function based on what we're doing, we have that Boolean always ready. And now what we don't have to do is definition. Right. Wait. If it's a definition, oh yeah. If it's not a definition, we push the braces. That's the parse kind I want. It's so good. This is where we actually do it. We evaluate the code up here with the VM. We get a string back if it's a value. Well, no, okay. If it's not a metaprogram, if it's a value, then we add that as a static value constant with our static value system. If it's a metaprogram, then we require a string. And yeah, having 2 syntaxes for it also makes it hard to talk about. So yeah, we should fix that. We'll just make it a $$ block by $, or we'll call it metaprogram maybe, or we could call it just a meta block. See, and now I can get rid of these stupid assertions because this thing doesn't even exist. And then we get to remove it from there, which is why we didn't want it. Because this thing doesn't care if it's at the definition level or not. It's just what did the user type. Oh, yes, it's too good. It's still not as clean as it needs to be. Because this whole optional thing, and because, yeah. But at least that part's isolated to the hash branch. And if we're only keeping the dollar branch, it's just gonna go away. I'll just go to make no commit. Remove this syntax before all is done. Traded one, no commit for another one. Now I can go JTS1. Test. Why does cargo take... Look at that. Look, whoa. Stop. Ah, damn it. This is the one that auto scrolls. It takes like 7 seconds to run my tests. And then I go and do like millions of times more work in my own actual integration tests. And they run faster. Okay. So now we'll do a little bit of... looking through the diff, that's just Sandbox. We don't care about him. We fixed the LSP. We removed the dead code from the Lexer, added our 2 token kinds, remove that syntax before it's all done. Remove definition level, fix some warnings. Allow dollar and for meta programming directives shorthands. I'm gonna push that because it's sick. Across. Are we done? Meta. I don't think I have any. Yeah. This doesn't change. None of this changes. It's so good. Grep TK1. This is 200 SOAs. Yeah. I don't even use this anymore. I think we totally replaced this. But I do have a test for it. I guess it's a good test of meta programming, but it needs to move out of standard now because I have format. Right, we have built-in format with a rightf currently and stringf. So I feel like actually this needs to leave. And then just go to yeah, I ended up solving all of this. And this still has my notes from before. Still think it's okay. Is that called? Font. I think that file can just be deleted. Yeah, I know it's no longer available. Get me out of here. Sweet one. No, where should we go? Yep, we'll rewrite the docs we just made. That's cool. This is my stress test of how fast the interpreter is, or how slow the interpreter is, by the way. Deriving SOA 200 times. Okay. This is the standard test. I hadn't done it with a param yet, so that's good. Cool. This is my like meta test, okay? Cool. I feel like for blocks, I don't know. I like this space and I also don't. Let's go no space for a bit. I know I can find replace, but I like seeing the call sites and thinking about them. I commented these out. I think that's fine. I'll leave it there. Okay. And that's it. So now just the macros, this one, and then these, we can go. Cool. The meta directive. The meta directive, the meta operator, meta command. In order to invoke add lazy properly, we need to pass it our code as strings. It would suck to have to put them in double quotes like a regular string and also send the wrong signal. The backslash command, code command invoked with backslash is the solution for this. Backslash something. Use backslash something, and the provided statement will be turned into a string. I don't know. It's fine. It's not that important. Cool. Thunk, and then hello. Let's make it a real thunk, because that's just too cool. Does it work? It sure does. Cool. Makes my head spin a little bit. But it's so powerful. What was that Zig function that was on Twitter today? Going from RGB to a hex literal. I should totally write that and show it off with this. Now we just have to fix hash static. TK1. How many usages? 68. Yeah, it's like now. Because, all right, we've done dollar and backslash. The dollar is really the run it now, but meta. It's different because it's like insert this code. And static really feels like, you know, like accelerate this. Or I want this now. Like run, dry is run, right? Go. But it'd be cool if it were terser. It clashes a little bit with static if, in my opinion. We need static switch too. Yep. I think that needs to be a fix me. I don't have that many fix me's in this project, even though it's a three or 4 year project. Yeah. We keep it clean in here. Okay. I think I'm losing my mind. That was pretty cool though. Let's see if we can commit this. It's a little bit better. We now have some examples, which is fun. SOA is changed. Changed all of y'all. Update some K1 code to use new. Meta prog syntax. I guess we could call it macro, you know? Like invoke macro, we could call the operator macro, the dollar. We could call the dollar macro. We could call the backslash escape code.
like not the code command, but the escape code command. I don't even like command. The macro operator, meta command macro operator. Even sc define. Cool. Language is now harder to learn and way nicer to use. It's not any harder to learn. It was already completely foreign and esoteric to do the hash meta and hash code. So we could write a version of double that takes its arguments by name or by text. And yeah, text is amazing. There's nothing wrong with text. It can, I mean, when it's unstructured, sure, it's terrible, but when you know it's source code, it's great. It's great to work with. I could see one day, Dollar wants a string for the code. We could totally accept a data structure representing code like most macro systems do. You construct a tree, like we just do in ADT, but this is sick. Like, this is so much nicer. And you can always write functions that DSL over that and spit out the strings. And then you have a rich library for constructing K1 code. And then that can be used for like offline tools. It's good. All right. Thanks for watching my schizo session on macros. Improve macros. Thank you all. See you next time.